And we are live with the season finale of the Free Culture Sports Show. So this would be sort of, I guess, the time in seasons past where we would have done a big EPL preview show. But things have just been crazy. You're going to the beach. I just moved. It's and most of the moving stuff is settled, except I just this morning accepted a job. So I don't know what's going to be happening with all of that. So that's been sort of like I've not been wanting to plan too much because I didn't want to have to reshuffle everything. So I don't have a schedule yet, but eventually we'll get out a schedule. So season 4 should start next week, but it's set to start on the 12th. That's Wednesday right now, but we may end up having to move that around. So we will just see about that. Today we have tons of things to talk about. So Arsenal beat Chelsea in the FA Community Shield. So it's not, your note in here says Arsenal finally beat Chelsea.
It's more Wenger beat Mourinho.
Right. That's exactly what I was thinking. So I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily read too much into the Community Shield. It's a preseason. Yes, there's a trophy, but there's the, International Guinness Cup or whatever it's called that PSG won and that Manchester United won last year. And they're winning it last year. I guess they did finish 4th. So, that was, they were not bad.
But didn't the Red Bulls finish 2nd? And I think they were tied on points with PSG.
This year, you mean? Or?
Yeah, this year. So, and they take some of the MLS games into the consideration for the points. So, like the games between, like one game between the LA Galaxy and the Red Bulls counted.
Like a legitimate, like
yes, like an MLS game counted for the standings of the ICC as well. So it was just because each team they had 3 different, like probably more now, but they had 3 different places where the teams played, and the North American site there were 10 teams, but you only played 4 games, and for the MLS teams, like 2 of those games were also considered MLS games. So they already had points before everybody else did.
Yeah. So I don't know. So it was in Australia and then in China and then in the No, because it overlapped with the US. So, but the Australia and China did not overlap. So probably the same teams played.
Well, I know that places. Chelsea, Barcelona, or Chelsea, Barcelona, or is it Fiorentina play tomorrow?
Oh, so it's not over.
Yeah, none of those. Chelsea plays tomorrow.
But none of those teams are able to win.
I don't know.
PSG was crowned champions, or were they just North American champions?
Yeah, but they have like different sites. It's weird.
Yeah.
Let's try to pull this up. Internet.
So it looks like if Chelsea has 4 points, and who else did you say played?
Barcelona
has 4 points. Fiorentina has 5 points. So there's no way any of them can get the 10 points that New York Red Bulls and PSG both have. So yes, PSG has 10 points. New York Red Bulls have 10 points. Manchester United has 9 points. LA Galaxy had 7 points. And yet, those teams that we just mentioned that are playing on other continents or not. I don't know. Chelsea is here. Chelsea and Barcelona were both here. Are they playing each other?
They might be. I know that it was a combination of Chelsea, Barcelona, and Fiorentina.
Oh yeah. Okay. So they don't change sites. So Real Madrid, Manchester City, and Roma were in Australia. I guess some of them do change sites because Real Madrid is also in China and they played.
I think Real Madrid was the only one that changed sites though.
Yeah, and there's like a lot going. Oh, that's because there's an F and C. I was like, there's like so many letters in this Inter Milan crest. I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Inter, but Why are there so many letters? It looks like the New York FC. Like they have like so many letters and things going on. But anyway, and then there are 10 teams that played in North America. So
it's Chelsea and Fiorentina. They play in London tomorrow,
which is that's not listed as a site.
It's a It's listed under the North American site.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know. Because I think it's the only game that's actually in England. Because guess what? Chelsea had like a game that actually meant something on whatever day it was, Saturday, and then
sort of. I mean, yes, it meant something. It meant as much as the ICC does.
There was a trophy involved.
Yes. So, and apparently Mourinho tossed his second place medal into the stands. I don't know if you saw that.
I saw the end of the game and saw Wenger like just walk off the field at the end, and that was pretty much all I saw of the.
Yeah. So he said he doesn't keep second place medals, and some Indian/Pakistani looking kid, he got it. I'm sure he's English, but maybe they flew from India /
I don't know. Not for this.
Not for the Community Shield. Maybe, well, I mean, if you were in town just for like,
that's true.
Then you might go. I don't know. I mean, like I went to a Sweden-Serbian U21 match when I was in Sweden, so you could have.
Yeah, it could.
All right, so we sort of just stopped caring about the Gold Cup after the U.S. lost to Jamaica. I don't even know if we've had a show or if we had a show and just didn't mention the U.S. lost to Panama. I mean, I think some people were like mad that they lost to Panama, but I didn't care. Like, who cares? I don't think the players cared. Nobody cared.
The third place game is the most meaningless game in the whole thing.
Panama probably cared, and that's why they won.
Let's be honest. I mean, it was some point when the U.S. played Honduras, whether it was in World Cup qualifying. I think it was in World Cup qualifying last time. I don't know. Honduras beat the U.S. The Honduras president declared it a national holiday the next day. So I mean, they care about these things.
Yeah. So that's all I really have to say about it. There's plenty of time to talk about the U.S.-Mexico match coming in October. There's no reason to talk about that now, I don't think.
No, I mean,
Mexico doesn't even have a coach right now, so
yeah,
who knows what it's going to look like. That's a thing in and of itself. I don't know. Maybe we want to talk about that. Herrera apparently punched somebody, but punched a journalist. But so there's a video, but then Men in Blazers said there's not a punch, or maybe they were just lying.
No, I heard it on I guess it was the World Football Phone-In. They were like there wasn't a punch, or at least not on camera.
Well, Men in Blazers said there was a video, so I don't know if that got released because, that's Saturday or Friday night for us when the BBC records their show, and then I think the Men in Blazers came out yesterday, but I could be wrong about all of that.
I don't know. I mean, there's still everything that I can find about it just says alleged punch.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't matter whether he punched him or not. He's not the Mexico coach anymore. That's what it boils down to. So talk a little bit about the UCL qualification. So Mamo lost 2-0 to Salzburg, who their crest still says Red Bulls. I was trying to figure out what was going on with all that. They're all the stadium stuff still says Red Bull everywhere. I thought the sponsorship stuff was going to deal with the advertising boards around the stadium stuff. They were advertising Red Bull hard during that game, and not just on the jersey.
Well, I mean, I think they could advertise it as much as they wanted to, as long as it wasn't officially part of the team name.
Oh, okay. Because I thought that during the group stages, all of the advertising is that's the official sponsors and stuff. So you can't do that during the race. It's like Gazprom and whoever else. Heineken has traditionally been one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe that has to do something with TV contracts and what's on TV and what's not on TV. I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't know how many countries carry the qualification stuff. So anyway, I suspect that Malmo is out, having lost 2-0. They
have to either win by 3 or win 2-0 and take it to penalty kicks.
Yeah. Now last year they won. I didn't look up the score, but last year I'm pretty sure they beat them 3-0. And it was a stage later when they played them last year, but they beat them 3-0 in Malmo. But they had also kept it to 2-1 away. So I think that Red Bull, once they were down to it, I think they just kind of gave up.
Yeah,
basically. And the third goal was a late goal. But so Malmo is 7 points off the Allsvenskan leaders and 4 points off a Europa League spot for next year. And if they go out of the UCL at this stage, they'll drop into the Europa League. And then if they go out at the next stage, though, I think they don't go to the Europa League. So it really, whether they win or lose, I guess if they keep going in UCL, I'd like to see them in the group stages again. But if they go into the Europa League, it'd be nice if they would just concentrate on the league. They're not so far off. I mean, 7 points. There's 12 games left in the season. That's kind of a lot. But the 4 points to get back into Europa League spot for next year, they had so much turnover. The team, if they don't have a lot of turnover after this season, and the reason they had turnover is because they were the Champions League, so everybody wanted their players. But that's not going to happen. So they'll have everybody who's been together for a season. And so maybe next year they can make another real go of things. Although I don't know, how realistic that is with the Europa League. I mean, maybe it will be next year. I didn't think them making to the group stages last year was realistic. And then they did that and they played pretty well until the end stages, I guess, when the other teams started really figuring out that Malmo wasn't going to be pushovers. But I don't really know about that. And it looks like Celtic kissed through. I don't know. Did you check up on this? I put this in here, I think, yesterday. But their game might be getting canceled. So I don't know if that has happened yet. So apparently they're in Azerbaijan.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, they can't get their field ready there. So if that doesn't happen.
Well, I was thinking of something I was listening to earlier, but it was about CONCACAF, and I'm sure UEFA has similar things. Belize hasn't fielded a team in the Champions League because they can't get the CONCACAF Champions League because they can't get their field conditions good enough. But they know that ahead of time. This is weird that it's they're already halfway through this round and they're like, oh, we don't have a field.
Yeah, I mean, they went to Scotland and played at Celtic Park last week. They could have just saved themselves the expense and the travel on the legs and everything and not done that. But then again, maybe they thought it would be fun to go to Scotland. Maybe it was fun to go to Scotland. I've never been to Scotland.
No. Well, they tried to move the game, but they can't because there was a Europa League game on the field. They tried to move it to the next day.
Yeah. So poor management there. But I think that Celtic's pretty pissed off because my understanding is they were already in Azerbaijan and they could have saved themselves the trouble. But I say if it's forfeited, you're on to the next round. So just go home.
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
Save yourself the potential embarrassment of going out to the Azerbaijani team.
Or any injury or anything.
Right. So,
but they probably don't get any money for it if they don't play. So I don't know what the money is for a game like this, but you fly, got all that expense, and you got players who are ready to play, and then you don't play. But I don't know, through to the next round, and the next round probably pays more money. So just focus on that.
Exactly. So another big news that we haven't had a chance to talk about, Schweinsteiger actually, I know that some of these notes were in the last time, and we just didn't get them to them because I moved Schweinsteiger to Manchester United. This seems like huge. I know that he's 30 or about to be 30, but it's still, he just won World Cup last year. I don't know. They've needed somebody in that part of the pitch for years. I mean, Carrick, they needed somebody besides Carrick.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. You follow the Bundesliga. I don't know your thoughts about.
I wouldn't say I follow it, but I mean, I know how good Bayern is, and I do see when they kind of lose. Kind of see, oh, that's interesting. Bayern actually lost the game. I don't know. I mean, it was weird with his injury, not last season, but the season before the World Cup, because he kind of played a holding midfielder role, and he got injured, and Lahm moved up into that holding midfielder role, which is what Lahm started playing at the World Cup. And so everybody was like, well, what's going to happen to Schweinsteiger? Well, I mean, I guess they realized it was, they could part with him because they have Xabi Alonso and Lahm, if Lahm's still playing holding midfielder for him. I don't know if he is or not. I haven't checked that recently, but they've got holding midfielders there, and Schweinsteiger seemed like he could be, kind of expendable. And maybe they sensed he was just being injury prone. I don't know. It's not often you talk about a German who's injury prone, but I guess it's possible.
Yes.
So I mean, they got him and Schneiderlin in there in the middle now. So I mean, I think those are both pretty good pickups. But it's interesting what it does to Fellaini and Blind. Looks like Blind, but I think it's Blind. Like, is he moving back to center back? Like, that just seemed kind of like, oh, we can't find a center back, so let's move a midfielder back to center back. And, oh, it's actually kind of working a little bit, so let's keep going with it. And I don't know what Fellaini's doing. So if they're going to use Fellaini as a forward to kind of be a target man,
he's been playing. He did that last season and did it well. So,
well, he's not going to start. So I mean, he's going to be coming off the bench.
Yeah,
which I think he did last season too.
Right.
So, if he's okay with that, good. They did get Darmian, who I think is going to be a pretty good fullback for him. And I think with that, Valencia can play like an actual winger instead of having to play fullback.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that's good. I mean, I was impressed by a lot of their buys. I like Depay. I can't pronounce his name. Memphis is what I call him.
Yeah. I think it's
Depay. I like them, but it seems like they just need to sign a forward, and that's just weird to me that they're like, oh, Rooney's our guy after he didn't play it last season, and then there's like no clear backup for him.
Yeah.
It's just odd.
So I think the Hernandez thing was mostly they needed to get his wages off the books. I don't know. And also it may be that Moyes didn't like him, but Van Hall didn't have a problem with him. But they just needed to get him off the books anyway. So, he could definitely be playing. I've heard Depay might play centrally, and then James Wilson, he can definitely do it as well. I mean, we've yet to see it game in, game out whether James Wilson can do it. But, this is basically got to be his make or break season. So, so the Di Maria to PSG thing, that has not yet happened. So it's supposed to happen, but who knows? Apparently,
I was going to say, apparently he flew in for a medical and then went straight to the hotel and didn't do the medical because he was tired.
Yeah.
But if it's to the medical stage, you would think that it's happening. I don't know why it wouldn't be happening if he actually flew into wherever he flew into. It seems like he flew into Qatar, is what I read.
That's right.
Okay. He made the flight, so you would think it's going to happen.
Right.
After a 20-hour flight, I think I would be a little bit tired too.
Yeah. So Balotelli is on loan.
He's not yet.
Yeah, if they reach the Champions League group stage. So that's if Lazio reaches the Champions League group stage.
Which is weird because, the articles in the press always make a big deal of, oh, this could, these just weird connections that could happen. if Ajax and Shakhtar Donetsk make it through round 3 of the Champions League qualifying, then Lazio will not be a seeded team, which means that they could play any of the top 5 seeded teams, and one of those just happens to be Man United. So Man United could eventually beat Lazio, and Lazio could be, we don't want Balotelli. So they were just like, Man United could keep Balotelli at Liverpool. I mean, it was just silly, the reach that they were going for with that. I mean, it is true. But it was just
we'll find out on Friday whether or not they play each other. So
we could find out if they won't play each other tomorrow after the Ajax and Shakhtar Donetsk play. I was looking.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. I was looking at some of the team rankings are just weird in FIFA and UEFA, but I did find it interesting, at least, that the top 6 in England, the Premier League last year, at least in their UEFA ranking, they are ranked, I think, in very similar order, which is interesting to me. And then it just kind of goes to pot after that. But that was odd to see that. But I mean, it's weird to see, they value if you make it through Europa League and through Champions League. So to see like a team from Cyprus ahead of Liverpool is just odd. Perhaps they are a better team at this point, but I mean, it's just still odd to see that. But credit to them because they've went through, some year in the last 4 to 5 years.
Right.
But it's just, it is what it is. To answer your question earlier while I was looking at that, if Malmo goes out in this round, they go to a Europa League playoff round. If they go out next round, they go to the group stage.
Okay.
So they jump straight to the group stage if they win. They'll either reach the group stage of the Champions League or the group stage of Europa if they can somehow get past Salzburg.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, they've changed the format, or maybe it was this round that. No, because this round goes into the Europa League. Malmo lost, I think, in the next round, but it may have been this round, back in my first year of law school, so 2011, because it was in August, because I remember watching it in New Hampshire. So it was it was like mid to late August, I guess. And they lost to like Maribor or some Eastern European team. Because that was the summer that they had beaten Rangers, which I was excited about because I don't like Rangers. But also I was just excited because they made it through, and I hadn't anticipated that they would make it past Rangers. And then I seem to remember they just got absolutely obliterated when they went to Eastern Europe for some reason. But
on aggregate, it was 4-3, but they lost the first leg 4-1.
When they played, was it Maribor? Is that what you're?
No, it was Dynamo Zagreb.
So that was 2011 qualifying.
Yes, because you said the Rangers thing, and I made sure that they had played Rangers.
I'm pretty sure they didn't drop into the Europa League after that. Maybe I'm misremembering.
It says the losing team was supposed to be in the group stage of the Europa League.
Okay, well maybe they did, and I just didn't pay attention because I was in my first semester of law school. I mean, I guess that's what happened. I just thought, or maybe I just stopped caring.
They made it, but it wasn't pretty.
They cared as little as I did.
They had a -11 goal differential in 6 games, so they did draw a game. So that is, I mean, that is what it is with that, but. And they did go through. I mean, it did happen. I did think that would be a little bit weird. I know they changed their rules recently to kind of give the champions path and the league path. So I thought maybe if they were one of the paths didn't drop to Europa League.
The Alvin of course, this could have changed too, but the Alvin only gets 1 qualifying spot, and then they get 2 Europa League spots. So you have to finish 3rd to get into the Europa League in Alvin. And so it's like the team that finishes 2nd goes into like the 2nd round of Europa League qualifying, and the team that finishes 3rd goes into the 1st, or maybe it's 2nd and 3rd rounds.
Well, at least in 2011 it was 1st and 2nd, but don't know what it is these days.
Right. So I think that's right. That's what I said first. So hopefully they can get one of those spots. But I don't know if like they've just been sort of like building up to this stuff, but I haven't seen in their games against the Estonian opponents, Latvian, not Estonian, the Latvian opponents, or against Red Bull. I haven't seen a lot. They played better against Red Bull, maybe because they knew if they were going to score, they were going to have to not just park the bus because they're much better than the Latvian team. I'm not really sure, but I've not been impressed thus far. So, but maybe they have the Italian / U.S. women's team syndrome of not playing well and then sort of getting things going at the end. So, I
will leave you with this. There are now, I don't know what the reason is. Maybe if the league's gotten better, so they got another spot, or if it's fair play. I don't know what it is, but there are 3 Swedish teams still in qualifying for the Europa, plus Malmo in the Champions League. So they have 4 now.
So I'm guessing that is because of the fair play. Not financial fair play, though, whatever it's called. The reason that West Ham is in, because the league table, if you go to Wikipedia, it just shows 3 spots for this year, and I'm pretty certain that that's the same for last year. I can double check that very quickly. What are if you've got it there, who are the 4 teams?
I scrolled up, so it's going to take me a second.
Oh, interesting. They must have lost because for 2015, for this year, it's only 3. So they lost one of their spots, despite Malmo going through the group stages. I guess the other teams were so terrible that they lost one of their spots. So they used to have it used to be 2 went into the first round of qualifying. So for this year, it was 2 went in the first round of qualifying, 1 went in the second round, and then Malmo as champions went into the second round of the Champions League. So they lost one of their spots.
I don't know why, because I don't know why, because there's so many teams that get 3 teams into the Europa League based on what I'm seeing, and they were currently 24th in the association, and the only ones that have 2 are 52nd and 53rd, which is San Marino and Andorra. Of course, you've got some with only 1, but it just seems I don't know why that would be the case.
Yeah, maybe Wikipedia is just wrong. I don't know.
With who gets through? I mean, how many gets through?
How many get in? Because it's saying that there's just 3 for 2015. So for next year's, I mean, because Sweden goes, winter, summer, then it's.
And I pulled up next to see if there was anything already for next year's Europa League, and it still has them at 3. So I don't know. Maybe they're just wrong. I mean, maybe the table's just wrong.
Yeah.
But.
All right. So anything else? We've got a bunch of stuff on here, but I don't know if there's anything super timely. I mean, I think we talked about all the LFC stuff. I mean, you said that they were ignoring center back when we had these notes before.
Well,
is that still the case?
I don't know. It depends on who you listen to. I think the more pressing need is the left back because – well, they just need some defensive help because they've seen what has happened the past year or 2 with Martin Skirtle, Sacco, and Lovren last year. And I think Rodgers thinks that they're going to be better this year. But everybody was like, well, they weren't very good last year, so why would they be very good this year? But we got a new right back. We got Klein. And we got Joe Gomez from either a championship team or like League One team, and he's been phenomenal but I don't know if he's not a starting left back.
What was the team, or you just don't know?
I don't know. I just remember it was a team from lower in England.
Okay, that's fine. You don't
I'm pulling it up real fast, but they seem to need another fullback or another center back, and it's just I don't know if they're done because the rumors that I've heard just haven't been fullbacks usually. So the team was Charlton Athletic.
Okay.
And he's only 18 years old now, but he played in several of the preseason games and he did a good job. But he can play anywhere on the back line, but he's a starter in the Premier League. I just don't think he's there yet.
Yeah, it's hard to know about the preseason things. Like, James Wilson and Lindegaard and a bunch of people in Manchester United have played in those preseason games in the past, and people are like, "Oh, they're ready to start," and then nothing.
So they have a starting left back in Marino. So I mean, I guess he could think that they're fine. I mean, I like Marino, but he's got to get better. So I think that they could be done with transfers and be fine. Still need to unload Balotelli and Barini. But I'd maybe sign another center midfielder that's kind of a holding midfielder. I don't know. I don't think there's such things as having too much talent, because if you have too much talent that somebody's not playing and they're mad about it, then okay, that's still a good thing because you still have too much talent. You can get rid of the player later. But if you have too many players who are mediocre and nobody stands out of that, well, that's a bad thing. So you don't want to sign another mediocre player for the midfield. I do think that they want another holding midfielder, but they've got tons, so I don't really know. I think that they should be done, call it, and be ready to go, unless they're going to bring in somebody who just is record setting for Liverpool to bring in, like Marco Reus, which has been connected for forever, but nothing's ever been official. Or I can't remember some of the, like Pedro, if they try to go after Pedro, but there's 70 teams linked with Pedro at the moment. So I think that they'll be done. They might sign another winger. They might sign another center midfielder, but I don't think it's going to be anything astounding. Just somebody to kind of help with depth.
So I forgot to mention at the beginning that we are moving to just doing football on the site, and we have a couple new writers about that. I don't have it in our notes right now, but I'm going to put the first article. One of the guys is going to be covering the Argentine League, mostly following the Racing Club from Buenos Aires. And in honor of that, I'm wearing basketball jersey, and even lamenting our no longer doing basketball. That's why I decided to wear a basketball jersey today. So, and also Charlton Athletic are mid-table, dead center in the championship at 12th. So,
last point? Last year. Okay, I was like, how are they already mid-table? I mean, did they play a game already and they were tied? I don't know.
That would do it, but no, I think everything starts on the 8th.
Which is earlier than normal, but, the sooner the better.
Yeah, I wonder why that's the case. I guess it's because of Euros next year?
Probably. I don't know if it's earlier everywhere or just in England, but
other places can make it up in their winter break, but having a shorter one or something, but England can't do that since they don't have a winter break. No,
they might now have a little bit of a winter break, but I doubt it.
No, they're going to play 7 games in a week. Because that's what they do.
Congrats. You have 4 games from December 21st to New Year's.
It's like DC United in the end of May and in June. And they played all these games. And part of that was because of the Open Cup. And then they had 2 weeks off. It's you couldn't move one of those games into July. And it's like all those games are happening during like the Women's World Cup. So like half the people are not paying attention to DCI/NLS. And then like those 2 weeks that they're off, like nothing is happening. Like I don't need the ICC hadn't even started yet. So it's like, I don't know. MLS is just, I mean, it's goofy in so many ways, but that is another way in which they are goofy. So, but anyway, we can talk more about MLS goofiness and silly season transfers next time when we open season 4 on the Free Culture Sports Show. Thanks for watching.